everybody, I'm Jordan with PDQ.com. I'm here with Colby, so while I'll give you some information, Colby's here to give you better information. We're going to talk about the new feature we have, the PowerShell Scanner, which I absolutely love. I guess the best way to think about it is not so much as a PowerShell scanner, but it's the scanner to end all scanners. Sometimes you're asked, hey, can you do this in PowerShell? And the answer is always yes, without knowing exactly what you're looking for. So with that in mind, I guess let's dive in and take a look at what we got. All right, so I guess the first thing we're going to do is we'll just create a quick scanner. So options and scan profiles. New. Name it live.
You can hear Colby hacking away at the keyboard over there. Very
loud. That was me. My bad.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Colby's fingers aren't moving.
All right, well, something's got to distract from this. All right, so now we got the scanner. We're going to choose Add. We're going to go down to PowerShell, which you have there. Scanner name. We'll do Apex Packages, I guess. That's one that everyone loves. So normally we have a file which we recommend. If you have it as a file that you load up in there, you have a bit more source control. You have the ISE editor, so you have a bit more, I guess, control of what you have, and you know what you're getting better. For this case, just to show that the script does work, I'm just going to put it in here since it is a quick one-liner. Although now I'm probably going to have typos.
I'm gambling. I'm gambling.
Let's see. Select. I'm just going to go with name. Should I go install location? We'll try two. We'll see if I can do it.
I got faith in you, Jordan.
Install location. All right. We'll see if that works. All right, before I go on, we test run it. We got the parameters. If you have any particular parameters for the script you're running, or if you have a file that you're referencing, you can put that all in there. We default the row limit to 100, but if you feel like you need more, I'll go ahead and change that. All right. Oh, I'm not going to correct the typo in the title because it doesn't matter.
Sounds like my kind of work there, buddy.
All right. So now that we have the open, we'll choose bird person, because I always choose bird person, and scan the computer with the new one we just made. Should run hopefully quickly.
You know, it's interesting you choose bird person. I always choose like 4-letter words, names, because they're easier to type.
But bird person is one of my favorite characters from the show.
From
Rick and Morty.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So now it's Phoenix person.
It is now Phoenix person.
Is it Phoenix person?
So we need to rename this computer.
All right, so we see here we have all the scanners that we have available. We'll choose the one I did, and we have the list of all of the Apex packages and the install location for it. You could write something to remove. There's a lot of caveats on that. You want to make sure you have something to exempt the applications you don't want to remove, because it will take off things like calculator and some .NET things. It won't remove Edge, but it will sure try to.
So the scanner, you can actually remove stuff using the scanner?
Well, it just sends through PowerShell. So if you pipe that into a command to do the remove, if it finds it, it will work for that.
That sounds dangerous, man.
It would be better is if you find this list, then you can then run a deploy package to do
get
the
them.
remove.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And then another thing, if you are looking to do the remove, it's going to remove for the logged on user unless you have PowerShell 5.1 installed on that machine. Then they enable the allow users for the remove. All right, so I mean that's pretty much it. I guess important thing is when you're creating these, and we'll open up PowerShell, which I should have had open. Good thing I didn't use the 30 minutes we had to get prepared.
That was for discussion and getting tuned up, right?
At least it's centered.
Well,
Ow. Was that a shot at me?
Take that, Lex. Sorry, Apex package. Oh, now I can tab complete. I'm so happy.
That hurts because it's true.
So, name, and we're going to give another shot with both of them. All right, and then we're going to pipe that into out grid view.
I got a question, Jordan. Right. Now, if I did do that remove like you were talking about, what kind of information would I get back from the PowerShell scanner?
Well, if you have it where error silently continue, it'll just give you an input of this was removed from this machine.
Okay.
For each one you have, it will return a lot of this was removed and keep it in there. But like I said, for removal, this is helping you get the list of maybe ones you don't want. But if you're going to remove, probably use deploy for that one.
Good point. All right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So for the out grid view that I put in there, this is just will let you see what the results will kind of look like in the table. So I just did the out grid view. Got this box there, but if we go back to the scanner, it's similar, just not expanded out. So when you're writing some, if you want to test it without actually running it as a scanner, Outgrid is a good way to see what kind of data you're going to be getting. It will really make it easier to transport in and work for you. All right, a big part of we include with this is there's a Git repository on GitHub that Colby and Nate and now Steven Valdinger has contributed to. And that's just here on the GitHub repository. And this is anything that's in here, these PowerShell scanners. If you use the Git commandlets, you can keep those up to date with the pull or download them all in the first place. It's just a way to get them updated. So if something goes wrong, say we have Windows Defender information, something changes in the script, instead of having to go through and change the script, you can just update your pull request and it will update everything that you were missing in there. So on the main page, I believe Colby is included right there, the Git clone of where you're pulling everything from. And if you need Git, deploy does it have it as a package. Just go in here to the package library.
So is it a good rule of thought? I mean, anytime you download those, obviously to read them, verify them,
Yep.
just to make sure that, you didn't get something that maybe I programmed.
Yeah, so in there, I mean, we are vetting what's in there, but obviously we trust our word, you should trust your own. So using the Git to pull it down will only pull down those scanners, so you can look through them if you want to. It's not going to run anything, it's not going to install into the product, it's just going to pull it to a location. On these ones, I have already done the install. So the Git, I guess I'm showcasing the Git for Windows there. You just put that on your console machine and then run the console here. So here we're in the PowerShell Scanners one, and since I've already forgot the Git command, I'm going to go to where Colby has it, Git pull. I can see why I forgot that. And that is complex. All right, for that one, it's going to go through and it's going to, anything change, we'll update it. If there's new ones in there, we'll add them. But like we said, that's going to put them on your machine, but it's not going to make them available as a scanner quite yet. So if you're looking to add those, we're going to go back to not on deploy, to options of scan profiles, and there's an import button right here where you can point it to the different PowerShell scanners. So as you can see, we have all the ones that we were talking about earlier. I think by default, user logged on and Defender are included.
No, it's the mapped drives
Mapped
and
drives.
Windows Defender information.
Okay. I guess it makes sense. The user logged on, well, we'll go into that one in just a bit. So everything's up to date. If we want to add it, and we'll add the one that Steven added here. Imports it in there. All right, and we have a question.
Dear Jordan, and everybody else, can we take data returned from the PowerShell scanner and somehow put it into a custom field so it can be shown on inventory's column view of PCs? Thanks, Tyson B.
Not readily. If you want to, as actual column on the main page, it is possible to take data and copy it into a custom field. Chris has some blogs on doing that, but it involves doing some SQL and updating the database. There's some risk involved. If it's something that you're adamant that you need that, I would find those blogs from Chris and read through that, and he does pretty good on breaking down how you can pull out the data you need and put it somewhere else. You have to do some modification because he's pulling from third party back into the database. In this case, you'd be pulling from the database and just putting it back in a different spot.
And all that displayed data comes from the computer table.
But you can still, that's where you want to use a report. It won't show up in the collection field, but a report will give you what you want.
Yes, and just to see the reports, you can choose from multiple areas. You can get all the specific data you want. So it wouldn't be on the main page, but it could either email regularly or put a report in a share where most people have access. It'd be, yeah, so there's ways to get it so it's still readily available, but if you want it on the main window, there's just going to be a little bit of work on that one, and SQL, which I can't do that. All right, and so did I close my scan profiles? That was a bad call, Jordan. It's open, so as you see here, we did the import and we grabbed the Chocolatey one. All right, and so let's see. If we're doing the Windows Defender, which is there by default, Kobe's telling me, and I trust him, just edit. You can see this is what we're talking about where we have it as the file instead of in the script block. So we can just,
I was worried that the highlighter wasn't working, but really it was just you not using it.
I've used it up to 3 times today.
Yeah.
Up to 3
Well, you used it
times.
one other time before.
I'm almost good at this stuff.
Which is 3 times more than I've ever used the highlighter, if you think about it.
Tisk, tisk.
Yep, and just to give some ideas of what the PowerShell looks like that works from there. This one really, line 11, underline that so JJ's happy with a little apparently very
Yay.
wobbly line. That's basically, that's it. That's what pulls the data back. But then what we have included on top of that is the first one is it checks to see if it is a Windows 10 machine. And if it's not, it just comes back with an error that's easy to understand. And if the service isn't running, it's not going to bother trying to run it. So he put in some error handling just so instead of it having fail and getting a random error, he has control of what he has, and then it runs the one line where it gives him exactly what it wants, which I guess I could run and show what it looks like eventually.
Let's do it.
I open a lot of windows. All right, we'll choose bird person again just because that's my go-to. All right, and this one, we talked about maybe selecting specific lines because there is a lot, as you'll see when this is finished. But people are going to want different things from that one, so we just put it all out there. If you want to select your own, just put your customization, just pipe after line 11, select object, and then the names of the titles that you want. Oh, and bird person is a 8.1, so I can showcase that error handling we're just talking about. I won't be using bird person for this one. Let's see, find it Windows 10. CrocUbot, much better. So error handling works.
Very
there you
nice.
go.
Okay, I couldn't even spell that correctly. I can't even say it right.
Oh, CrocUbot? Wow.
I was
That's because it's spelled wrong.
Oh, it's spelled wrong.
It's
isn't it?
CrocUbot.
Okay, so I had the name right. Inventory has
Some
the name
people call it
wrong.
CrusUbot
Really?
because it's spelled wrong.
Yep. All right, so you can see here we have like the engine version and product version, and just there's a lot in there. We didn't want to try to limit because we don't know exactly what people will be looking for. So if you run that one, find the fields you need, you can go ahead and narrow that down and you'll have a smaller table to run with. It will be a bit cleaner for you. All right, I guess for a little bit more complex, we'll take a look at the user last logged on. One caveat for that one, while I load it, is it does require to have the logging to be controlled by group policy where you keep those kind of logs a bit longer. Otherwise, with circular login, once it overwrites, it's gone. So if you don't have a group policy set up for that, you'd want to set that up before using this one, or you're just going to get very recent data and not exactly what you're looking for. Which, fun fact, we don't have that turned on, so I will showcase the lower value. I'm going to open that one. And this one is just, once it opens up there, it's just basically looking at Event Viewer. And I think it's because I already have it open here. Yeah.
So you can parse the event viewer with this.
Absolutely. PowerShell can,
That is
if it's on Windows,
epic, dude.
PowerShell can do it. PowerShell, there's a reason why every time you come to me with a request, you say, hey, can you do this? I just say yes. I don't even
Well,
listen
you don't
to the
even let me
request.
finish the sentence.
The answer is
Okay.
yes. It got me in trouble once because apparently I shouldn't have, but I don't ask should I ask can I?
Yeah,
And the answer is yes. So yes, I could go through the event logs, and then we have here, we're looking in the security log 4624, and then we have a lot of different customization of data here. The replacement strings, I'll be honest, I didn't write this one. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I do know it works great in the end result. Maybe Colby?
The replacement strings, that's a property on the object that you get back from that commandlet. And then the bracket and the number is an index into an array. So that replacement strings is an array of strings. And so the sixth item, because the indexing is zero based, the sixth item is the account name, and the ninth item is the login type.
Okay.
Let me just, being a Padawan or a youngling when it comes to PowerShell, is this a good one to like mimic? I mean, like I am the world's greatest plagiarizer. Copy this and then I fart with it until I end up with what I need. Is this a good one to do that with, looking for the event log?
So
The
if you're looking to do something specific with the event log, this is a fantastic one.
Okay.
Obviously, you just want to look for things that cause something specific, like you're probably not going to want instance ID 4624, or if it's in a different log
True,
name.
but it gives me a place to go
Yeah,
to.
but everything in here works fantastic. I guess we have another question.
Dear Jordan, if our admins have PowerShell disabled for our users by GPO, will this still work for us? Thanks, Craig S.
Ooh, I haven't tested it, but it seems unlikely. If it can't run locally, which is what this does, so this is just going to run PowerShell locally, and if they can't do that, even with an admin credential, which this would be running as whatever credentials you put in there, if that's not going to work, then the scanner's not going to work for you.
Maybe one thing they could consider is if they do have a policy that's going to disable it by users, that they exempt a few users, like say, the background service user or those accounts that are used for scanning.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Shane recommended they could do that. Or, just disabling PowerShell, it did say 4 users, which makes me think it is only 4 people without admin accounts. But if not, I think a better practice would be to just make signing mandatory, then set up a signing server where you can sign your scripts in there, and that way you have some protection. Okay, yeah, I guess another question.
Dear Jordan and Colby, I've deleted one of the pre-built PowerShell scan profiles by accident. How do I get it back? Please? Thanks, Craig L.
All right, we can absolutely show that one.
Someone can export it and send it to him.
Well,
We've had to do that before.
Well, if it's one of the PowerShell ones, then it's part of our GitHub, and they can just do the pull to the server and then re-import it. So I'm going to, oh no, I've deleted Defender information. That's
Whoopsie.
a bummer. So you just come hit import. If you have imported from the GitHub, just find the one you're looking for, and it will even keep the same name for you, or create a duplicate if you didn't delete it, which not real relevant. Thanks for that information. So you can just import it there. If it's not there, as we saw in the GitHub, it's git clone from this address there from the scanners, or if it is, you can just do git pull at that location, and it will have all of your scanners up to date. Then you can just re-import those. If it's one that you custom built, if you haven't saved it somewhere, if it's not on a different machine, then you're just going to have to rebuild it at that point. But with the PowerShell ones, those are part of our GitHub, which is fantastic. All right, so I guess back to the user last logged on. This is where the parameters come in, and that did not draw the line I was hoping. There we go. This is basically an option to set the results that it finds to lowercase, and that's for sorting. I can guess, or I can come and read his comment where he says it's so they group properly. Thanks for comments, Colby.
Do you want to show the grouping?
Sure. Just give me 1
Show,
second.
not tell.
As soon as I find my mouse. There
Jordan,
we go.
let me explain how this would look.
So if you were hypothetically to hit
Close
the
your
run
eyes.
button,
Close your eyes and imagine.
All right, so
I will whisk you away.
imagine, if you will.
It's a happy little PowerShell.
All right, so first if you open up the scanner, you can see this is a parameter that Colby built into it to make it go lowercase. If you're not worried about case sensitivity, you can remove that. But now that he has it, am I going to be able to show grouping where we don't have the login stored is the question. We're not going to have a whole lot of logins.
As long as you have like a couple, you'll be able to show it. But the main reason that I added that little bit to the script is because in my testing, different computers had like different mixes of uppercase and lowercase for the same username, and so then when you did the group operation, you'd get multiple entries for the same username, and by making them all the same case, in this case lowercase, it makes it so that it actually all groups properly.
Okay. All right, and I guess I'm running against all the machines, and I'll try creating a report.
I'd look at Guinness, because I know we got a million logins on that one.
oh yeah.
It's not bad. Well, the report will tell us.
The report will tell us.
All right, so we're just going to come in here. We're going to build a new report. All right, and computer name, I guess we do want to get a list of Once you do the scan or add the scanner, then it's going to show up in the table here. This one's got the red exclamation point, which we'll hide that, because I did delete that scanner just live and then import a new one. If you do the optimized database under preferences, which I guess show, so I don't get yelled at again.
I wouldn't do it now.
No, I'm not going to optimize. I'm going to show the button.
Oh, okay. Show the button.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So just in preferences, control command open, database, just this one here, optimized database. It will restart the machine and it will clean up a lot the bad tables you're looking at there.
Actually, it'll restart inventory or deploy, whichever you run it, not the machine. But yes.
All right, so back to my creating of the report. We're talking about user loggdown, right? There we go. Username.
So much easier when I'm not around to help.
Isn't
right?
it? Isn't it?
I should shut up, is what you're saying?
I didn't. No. I actually, because I'm just sitting here looking at the screen and clicking things and not keeping the dialogue going, which I don't know if you know this, they don't like.
What? Dead air is bad?
All right, so I just came in your filter and I chose from the user last logged on just the username. I'm going to run that report. And apparently only Quintana has logged into Guinness within our login cycle. There's more user profiles, but as far as logged on, we've only got the one. Yeah, so it's hard to showcase, but as Colby was saying, different names report names differently, and this is just to make it so it's all uniform and it's easy to control the data. Maybe we should turn on that logging. I like being monitored.
Yeah.
So would that count how many times Quintana has logged in?
So we only grab the latest login. So
Because we don't do
it doesn't.
logging
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So this will just grab the latest login and we'll have that timestamp, but it will grab every user that it has logged in and what time they logged in at. Absolutely.
question.
Dear Jordan, if Process Audit is enabled, can PowerShell then be used to see how many times winword.exe has been used, like a simple software metering, the double J, Jesper J?
I got to believe so. It's going to be similar to what we had with the user logged on, only obviously looking in a different event, and the part where Colby has where he only grabbing the latest, you're going to want to grab all of them and then do a count. But I think with those two things, it should do what you're looking for. I'm not sure exactly where it would be stored or what to look for, but using the event viewer when the last user logged on, you can probably modify that and make it work for you. All right. I guess now I'm going to showcase the chocolatey one, which I don't know what it does. So we'll see if I just pre-read everything or if I really don't know.
That bodes well.
We live on the edge here.
Test this
Welcome to our beta testing, everybody.
Test in production.
Well, we all here have met Stephen and we trust his work, and Colby has read through it. So
Stephen V from Chocolatey
Stephen V.
just rubbing his hands together like, all right, let's
Watch this. Well, time out. Colby read it. I'm feeling better already. There wasn't a veto from Colby. I'm feeling good.
All right. So script requires the audit login events, which is handy because we just talked about needing that for a different one.
But you're still on the user last logged on screen.
My goodness. So
It is handy.
that is handy. I did hit open on that one, right? I feel like I did.
You're hitting open on the PowerShell scanner. You need to right-click open to open in an ISE.
Here we go.
Yeah, doing stuff live, man, makes you nervous, doesn't it?
That's why Colby's here. I said it when we
We started?
when we started. I'm here to give some information. Colby's here to give right information. All right, and there we go. We're back. All right, so let's see. This one looks like he's trying with some try-catch blocks. So it basically is trying to see if it exists. If not, it just lets you know it's not, and it cuts it out. Let's see, and then he builds a function. This is fun times. With different parameters. So I'm just going to actually go down to the bottom here. So it's looking at the audit log, and if it finds it, it's going to give you name, version, installed by, domain. So it looks like it's grabbing everything that Chocolatey would give if it was installed and installed software. And then let's see. I guess he has a different process flag. So convert to Choco object. So it looks like overall what this is going to do is it's going to, if the machine has Chocolatey installed, it will let you know what Chocolatey has installed and when. So it kind of lets you, I guess, sort of a software audit based on things from Chocolatey. Colby's understanding is different. He would have already corrected me, I hope.
Yeah, that's basically what it does.
All right. Yeah, so, and then let's see, test to see if the path is good. Okay, so that one does look pretty complex, but overall what it does is pretty useful. If you were using Deploy and Chocolatey, and they do work great together. I believe Colby in one of his references Chocolatey as the package installer for when you're importing the AD module. Not the AD module, the Windows Update module. No.
I just like that look he put on his face.
Yeah.
That was worth the question.
That was the look of I need to stop talking.
That is incorrect.
That is not right.
This is you need a drink now.
I do. It's a good thing I didn't just write about that very thing, because then I would look ridiculous.
No, we use install module for that one.
Install module. Okay. All right. I'm tempted to open it up.
You gonna roll the dice on this?
I'm going to critique his work. I'm going to doubt Colby. For all those at home, this has never worked out for me.
I was going to say, doubting
ever.
Colby.
Ever. We're going to...
Colbypedia. You got that name for a reason, man.
I too like to live dangerously.
I have never won this. I guess while we're here, we can show it. This is where he has the additional files, and this is just so the module import is not a part of that script. So if you want to have several scripts that are importing that module, you don't have to add it include it everywhere. You just have to add the one file. And then this time I'm going to open it correctly because I've learned from my mistakes. Oh, NuGet is the NuGet and Chocolatey are different.
Nougat,
right.
Isn't that the creamy center of a Musketeer candy bar?
Once again, I went toe-to-toe with Colby and lost. It's just like every other day. It's good to be back in the office.
Doubting Colby was a bad choice.
All right. I can assure you I learned nothing from this, and I will doubt him again in the future.
Yeah, this goes beyond the drinking game. At this point, you need to just eat the glass.
Eat the glass. All right, so I guess I'm going to run the Chocolatey one now that we've looked it through and we saw that he's not trying to ruin our lives with malicious code. Thank you. We're going to run that one, and we're going to showcase the output log when that pops up. It's running. Hopefully it goes.
So you really thought it was a good idea to slap leather with Colby?
I think I was right once.
Were you?
I don't know.
I have never.
He's
been
even
right.
wrong about that.
I'm wrong about that right
Right.
once.
I have never. Every time Colby's like, no, the sky is red. I'm like, it's red. I'm walking away. It's red. I'm not going to argue.
You know what? I just making him show his work so he keeps practice. I don't want him to lose that edge.
Okay,
I questioned him for his benefit.
Is that what it is, Colby? You feel like you're getting the benefit out of that, man?
Sure.
I'm going to pause this for a second and set some expectations. Usually we run about 30 minutes.
Okay.
We still have quite a bit to cover. We will cover it. And we do have quite a few questions.
Okay.
So we'll take a few, and we'll probably do a speed round.
Okay.
This may go on for about an hour.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. So just after I ran the Chocolatey, it came back with that error, and you can see in the output log that it just basically gives you a bit more, deeper information, and it captures various things. I can't remember off the top. Colby's going to tell me exactly what it captures.
It captures 5 of the 7 PowerShell streams. So the data that you're getting back, the table that you see, is the success stream. And in the output log, we don't capture the progress stream because that would just be a jumbled mess. But then the other 5 are error, warning, verbose, information, and debug. And several of those, like debug, information, and verbose, you have to do kind of special things to get those to show up. But error and warning will show up by default.
I can't stress this enough. If you have a Colby in your office and you're not using it, that is a mistake. That is a lot of information that I would have to read every time. He just remembers it. All right, and you can see where those output logs are being saved. It zips them up and it puts them in program data and then just the scan output. So you can look through them. And then I guess the last thing to go over is we showcased reports a little bit earlier when we were testing the thing, but you can also do dynamic collections. where reports you can go through, you can, based on the same parameters, you can grab the fields you're looking for specifically and it'll have that information. A collection is just going to tell you which computers meet the parameters that you want. It's going to have their basic information. All right, and so you see here, just the filter, just map drives. If the drive layer is not blank, then it will populate there in our collection. And I guess with that, we want to move on to speed round of questions.
All right, dear Jordan, Colby, and PowerShell peeps, I was playing around with the scripts last night. Do the scan profiles have to be added on the central server? Trying to add from a client and was getting errors. Thanks in advance, Rick H.
I'd be curious to see what errors. I think as long as the server has access to those scripts, it should be able to run them just fine, where the file's loaded. But
What they're probably running into is they're probably trying to import the scripts from our GitHub repository, and those are hard-coded to C, whereas if you create your own and use the file picker, it'll do a UNC path so that the server can find it. So in this case, yes, you do need to import those on the server because of the way that I had to build those. We don't currently support variables in the PowerShell scanner. We're planning to in the future, and then that should help. We should be I should be able to change those to a path that is more client friendly.
okay, so I guess as a temporary workaround, if they're on the client, if they manually typed in the UNC path, then it probably would work for them again.
Yes, but then the scripts will be pulled
Yep.
from their workstation, not the server.
Okay. All right. Next question.
Hey guys, how much should I expect the database to grow with this new PowerShell scanner? I mentioned it to one of our techs, and he wants to start scanning every PC in our environment. Thanks, Wendy.
I guess it depends on how, tight he is with the results he gets back.
Depends on what you're collecting,
Yeah,
too.
if he builds a scanner and he's very specific, you're collecting these two items, and he does that a lot, probably not that much, but if he does like a massive tables where it's grabbing just everything in one, you're probably going to see quite a bit of growth.
Yeah, especially the way that we had to structure the database to handle these dynamic columns. Basically, every cell that you see in that table is a row in the database. And so, say for example, you scanned every file in System 32. That's going to create millions of rows in your database. So I'd recommend trying to filter your results to only what you need. Try to slim down the columns where you can, and don't return too many rows. That's why we have the default row limit at 100, is to try to keep from just exploding your database.
Basically, try to be as specific as possible.
Yep. Yeah, fine tune at the PowerShell part so your database will stay smaller.
Dear Jordan and Colby, why is the new PowerShell scanner theme in green? Thanks, Marcel L.
Well, I think this is just
Because
maybe
red
part
was
of the reason.
taken.
Mess with him and say it's not in green.
None of us were real happy with the name PowerShell Scanner. It uses PowerShell, but we wanted this to just be the ultimate scanner. It grabs whatever you want. So yes, it uses PowerShell, but we wanted to kind of some separation there. All right, next question.
I'm not sure what does he mean by green.
I
He's
didn't.
talking about the image we have on the blogs.
Some of the blogs have different variations, and a lot of that is
So it's like radar.
yeah.
Okay, but radar's green.
Yeah.
We'll say that's the answer.
We'll say that's the answer.
Well, it's not easy being green. Any pros or cons from adding it to the standard scan instead of its own scan profile? Danny A.
I like it depends on how fast your standard scan's running for you, and if you're okay with more time, whatever you add to it is going to extend the time it takes to run that scan. If it's something that you're grabbing information that you consider just as vital, throw it in there, just be aware of the time you're adding, but I think its own is probably best practiced. Next question.
With this PowerShell scanner, how can I pull data from devices and add it to a custom field in inventory? Thanks, Chris.
All right, this one's similar to the earlier question. That one's going to involve either running a report if you need the data centralized like that, or if you absolutely want it in a custom field, you're going to have to use SQL to copy that over. Next question.
Okay, forgive my broken English here. User profile size scanner. Sort results by size and the order is messed up. Goes by length of number rather than value. Any fix? Alex N.
Ooh, I didn't test that. Colby.
That is only an issue on the PowerShell page. Sorting works correctly on reports. So right now, all fields on the PowerShell page are using a string sort. That's something we plan to adjust in the future. We're not sure when we'll get to that, but if you run a report, it will sort correctly.
All right, next question.
Dear Jordan, I am a PowerShell Padawan also. Do you have any resource recommendations to get more familiar with PowerShell? Sincerely, Darth Sidious.
I always recommend PowerShell in a Month of Lunches by Don Jones. That is a fantastic entry into it, and he really breaks it down in a way that is a bit easier to understand. I don't know if Colby's read anything different or has any recommendations.
Nope, that's the one I usually recommend as well.
Or Dinner with Colby.
Dinner with Colby.
Can we have him sing it like Tom Jones?
It's like Don Jones. I don't know if he would, but
That's his new album, PowerShell. Evening of lunches.
Tom Jones is relevant again.
Yeah.
what's new, PowerShell 7? Whoa.
Dear Jordan, the current user field shows a user even when a computer is offline. So how is that different from what the last logged on user scan profile is showing? Thanks, Trey.
The last logged on user scan profile is going to show you everyone that's logged on with what time they logged on to it. So it's not really who's actually logged on, it's just who has logged into that machine. Next.
Next. Dear PowerShell guys, what is the minimum PowerShell version that is recommended by you guys for this to work properly with PDQ version 19?
Well, I would say 5.1, just because it has all the stuff. You don't have to have it. It's not the minimum available, but we do have a package in deploy to install 5.1 on your environment, and then you don't have to worry about different versions, like something that exists in 5.1. But not 3.
What is the minimum though? What's the one below that wouldn't work?
I think the minimum is 3.
Yep, the minimum is 3. If you try to run it on 2, you'll get an error saying that you need to have at least version 3.
Hey Jordan, you guys have a large amount of pre-built packages for deployment. Do you plan to have lots of packages added in the future you guys build instead of the community adding? Thanks.
So, unfortunately, we can't just choose any software and build a package from it. We have to go through their agreements and their licensing to make sure that we're not breaking their policy by sharing that out. So, for a new package, it's not just something we would like this, we can build it. We have a lot of red tape and legal stuff to work through. When we can add it, if it's a recommendation, and we absolutely would love to. We always want to expand that as much as we can.
The great thing about PDQ Deploy, though, is that if there's something that we can't use our license doesn't, or their license doesn't apply for, they don't allow us to put it in the package library. You can build it yourself, and there are plenty of webcasts and videos.
Yeah, most of the really popular titles, we'll do a video to help you out if we can't put it out.
Can the user profile size PowerShell scan be easily modified to show the size in megabytes or gigabytes? Sincerely, Matt R.
Oh, let's see if I still have that open in front
That's
of me.
math, isn't it?
Yes.
So no, not for me, it's not easy.
So without having it in front of me, I'll start opening it, but I believe it converts it to bytes specifically at one point, and what you'd want to do is at the end, when we're creating the PS custom object, you would want to, at that point, convert it into, I think /MB will
Go ahead and
switch it to megabytes.
Yep, you can divide numbers by 1 MB, 1 GB, 1 TB in PowerShell, and it'll do the conversion for you. But at that point, it's a string, and it probably won't sort properly anymore. And you also won't be able to do comparisons like greater than and less than. That's why I chose bytes. It's ugly, but it's the most actionable.
Versatile, definitely.
Yeah, so right here on line 7, that's where we're converting it to bytes. If you did want to make it megabytes, as with Colby's warnings about where you lose some ability to sort by it, it would be the folder size. You'd want to divide that by, I think, 1 MB. It's just a /1 MB, and that would convert it to MB, but it does then become a string and has its own issues.
Colby and Jordan, is there a way to convert it back into a number, integer, or a float?
Could you just, I mean, I got a question. Could you just do like divided by
compare it?
1024? Or certain derivatives of 1024 to get, megabytes, that kind of thing, and still returning it being a number?
Yeah, you could.
And
Absolutely could.
Jesse down in the comments just said, what about adding a column? Which that's actually a fantastic idea. So if you just came down here and said MB size.
I'm doing it simple. I see how it is.
Let's see if I can actually get it over there. Then it would, that's a plus sign. We don't want that. Did it. All right, so it'd be folder size and then /1 MB, I believe. I don't know if Colby can see that or not to correct me. I think that would then convert that to megabytes. That way you'd still have the bytes so you can sort by size, but you can see it in a more readable format.
Well, you can just run it and find out.
All right.
Let's do it. We'll do it
Game
live.
on.
Do it live.
Game on.
This has never gone bad for me. I don't have 10 minutes of me panicking trying to fix something in a webcast.
Jordan, you know that there'll be many, many more of these live webcasts just like this.
All right, so let's do bird person, because I always choose bird person.
You need
What
to
do I
find
name that one?
a favorite that's got a shorter name. Well, I guess you're selecting, you're not actually typing the name.
Profile size was what I just changed, right?
Maybe.
But I'm modifying scripts, but I don't know what I'm modifying.
This is a hell of a
Best.
speed round.
Best practice.
I think
I was ready to move on and assume I was right, but they want me to show my work.
Yeah, I paused the speed round. Sorry, Shane.
I think he's channeling you and me now, Shane.
No, my point is, JJ.
Yeah.
That's I'll change it from a hell of a speed round. That's a hell of a gamble to have Jordan show his work.
Fair.
There we go.
We show him in prayer. What's going on?
I want to trial by fire. I want him to have the practice.
All right, so it looks like that did convert it to megabytes, but we didn't trim the amount of decimals.
Very true number.
So it worked, kind of?
No, it worked exactly.
Oh,
It's just not
exactly.
clean as it could be. All right, next question.
Hey, Jordan, can you showcase how to see how much disk space is used per account?
Used per account? So I mean, outside of the user profile size, we're kind of using that one outside. I don't know outside of the user profile side how to tell anything different. I think Shane's leaning in to yell at me.
No, I won't happen.
Want to swap spots?
You're my hero.
If you can show it, I'll pause the speed round again.
Oh. Off the top of my head, I don't know outside of the profile size how to look at a different for an account using different amount of space.
Marcel in the chat is saying that was the question.
Oh,
So-
that was his question. Oh,
Yeah, so I think we did answer that.
all right. No, I'm just that good, guys. I'm just the next question.
Score. Win. We'll take that as a win, huh?
I'm drinking anyway.
Well, here we go. Can the PowerShell scanner scan the computers to identify what groups the current user belongs to? Sincerely, where there's a will, there's a way.
Kind of. Where inventory is more focused on the computer than the user. So if you're going to actually get the 80 groups that they're a member of, I don't know if you're looking for the local groups or the 80 groups, but the 80 groups is going to require you have the Active Directory module on each machine when you run it. That seems to me to be easier. If you're just looking for what groups users have just to run a PowerShell script against your domain controller or a machine that has those tools, if it's something where you particularly want that in the table, you're going to want to do something similar to what we have in the Windows Update, where we're importing a module within there, and you just have to point to where that's at, because I don't think that one's part of the install module script. You probably just want to call it directly. And then for each user, you'd want to do git dash user group or AD user group. I don't know the command off the top of my head, but it would be, you're basically going to have to run AD PowerShell against every account per machine, so you're going to have to be able to get that module loaded. It'd be complex. I don't know if you're going to get everything you want.
And our final question of the speed round, can we make pull requests against the scanner's GitHub to add ones that are suitable for sharing?
Absolutely. We have one in there from Stephen Valdinger with Chocolatey already. If you have something that you want to share with us, we would love to have it. We want to make that repository as powerful as possible. We want to give a lot of good information in there. All right, that's all the questions?
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. I survived.
Well, I'm looking in the outline, and it says we have 30 seconds of dead air.
Oh, dead air.
Jordan
Where
stares into the camera like a deer in the headlights.
I can't believe they didn't delete that. All right, here we go.
No, not happening. Nope.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this gives you a good start point where you can dive in and just grab everything you ever wanted. Like I said, we call it the PowerShell Scanner, but it is the ultimate scanner. If you need data, PowerShell is going to be able to grab it. You can use this to get what you're looking for. Thanks for tuning in. For PDQ.com, I'm Jordan.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Matt R. and Will, winners of PDQ swag. Please send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you're interested in becoming a PDQ Customer Advisor, there is a link still in the YouTube chat. Just go there and get yourself signed up. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.